In Privacy Watch, Google is integrating its password checkup feature into a new version of Chrome. It allows the tech giant to check user names and passwords saved on Chrome against a database of more than 4 billion usernames and passwords that have been compromised in the past. So I've had a lot of questions about this, which is why CNET senior producer Dan Patterson is here. So Dan, I'm thinking when I head to a website that is password protected, and I've already been to it on Chrome, Chrome usually saves my password someplace so it sort of automatically pops up. But this is like one more feature attached to that?
That's right, Anne-Marie. This is an additional extra feature and extra layer of security. So not a day goes by that we don't hear about some massive data breach, so much so that we just kind of forget about them. What we shouldn't forget is that our usernames and passwords are included in those data breaches. I mean, your username and password is included in those data breaches. I say that 2 times because it's really important to know that other companies are aware of this as well. So what Google is doing is monitoring the web and the dark web, other shadowy corners of the web, and looking for these data breaches, the usernames and password combinations. They're then adding those to Chrome, the ones that are associated with the username and password that you log into, and then they encrypt those when you log into Chrome, not just to Google, but when you log into Chrome, they encrypt your session, and then they check it against this cracked password, username and password database. So what this should do for you is allow you to have a better understanding of how many usernames and passwords have been compromised, and allow you to change your passwords inside of Chrome, inside of the secure session. They encrypt that session so that you are able to, without all this fuss, manage those data breaches and usernames and passwords.
So then I guess as long as you keep using Chrome, your updated passwords, I presume, are not at risk of ending up on the dark web again.
Well, it's very clever. As long as you stay logged into Chrome, Google would like you to feel more secure, although there is no perfect security. This gives you an additional layer of security.
So, you know, whenever there's a tweak, this kind of thing, now you've trained me. I always have to ask about privacy concerns. Should I be concerned?
Yes, always. 100%. Look, in this instance, Google is operating with your best interests in mind. Now, Google will say we always operate. Now, they're a corporation, and they have had their own data breaches, as has every major corporation. Look, this is just the way of the web. It's not particular.
And I sort of think, okay, so now Chrome will have all of my passwords for everything I ever log into.
That's also very true. They will also be able to check those against your web activity and see how you behave in other places across the web, especially when they already are able to set cookie data by using Chrome and all of these other I don't want to say monitoring, but kind of monitoring and tracking features. So this has a benefit for you, for sure, but it also benefits Google.
Do you think their tech heart is in the right place?
Yeah, I do. With this, absolutely. And in fact, they encrypt this so that they are not able to look at your usernames or passwords. That's what they say. However, you logging into them is kind of creating Google as the filter. You're not going to Firefox. You're not going to, say, Safari on your Mac. This kind of makes Chrome and Google your default home for accessing the web.
So if this still makes you uncomfortable, can you opt out of it?
That's kind of unclear right now. Google does do a pretty good job of giving you granular control over what you share with the company, but it really comes back to that kind of lock-in with Chrome as the access point. So you might be able to opt out of particular features, but if you're using Chrome regardless, it is pretty likely that you will kind of slowly start using other Google features over time regardless.
Right. Okay, so this aside, give us some tips just to make sure that we can keep our passwords protected.
I really love this feature because it is not just a feature, but it's education. And look, I'm not being hyperbolic. When we see these hacked passwords and databases, that is our identity. This is how we access the web. So one thing I would recommend is whether you use Chrome or not, use a password manager. LastPass, 1Password, Dashlane, there's a lot that are available. Use a password manager and never reuse a password. One of the best ways to get popped is if you use a password on one site associated with a username and then that site gets cracked and you're using it elsewhere,
yeah,
you are cracked everywhere.
I mean, that's super logical, but I know I've been guilty of doing
me too.
exactly that because, hey, there's so much memory up here, right?
It is always a balance between
Yeah.
security and convenience.
So true. Dan, thank you so much.
Good to see you.